Liberal Viewer presents.
So if you want to see the evolution of a right-wing smear job, there's a good example from a couple years ago that started from an actual news outlet, the Washington Post, which reported that the Justice Department was investigating lawyers representing prisoners at Guantanamo for showing those prisoners pictures of CIA agents. But because that story came from an actual journalist at an actual newspaper, it also included important caveats like the paragraph saying it was unclear if the lawyers identified the CIA agents in the photos to the prisoners, and that it was unclear if they disclosed any classified information at all. But by the time the story got to right-wing smear merchant Michelle Malkin the following week, all those caveats were gone, with Malkin just asserting without evidence that the lawyers were, quote, caught red-handed blowing the cover of CIA operatives, unquote. And a couple weeks later, when the story got to Fox News' The O'Reilly Factor, Bill O'Reilly in his so-called no-spin zone actually compared this story to the outing of CIA agent Valerie Plame and actually told his viewers that these lawyers put CIA agents in direct danger, as you can see in this clip.
A group calling itself the John Adams Project, affiliated with the ACLU, is secretly photographing CIA agents and showing the pictures to suspected terrorists at Guantanamo Bay, among other people. It's hard to believe, I know, but it's going on. Activist lawyers Joshua Dratel, Edward McMahon, and Nina Ginsburg are just three members of the Adams Group who are putting CIA agents in direct danger.
Now, that claim about putting CIA agents in danger turned out to be totally false, as I'll show in a moment, but worse than just broadcasting that falsehood while showing the names and faces of the people he's smearing on national television, Bill O'Reilly went even further and sent out one of his producers to stalk one of the lawyers during her time off as she went to the drugstore, as you can see in this next clip.
Factor producer Dan Bank caught up with Miss Ginsburg.
Hi, Miss Ginsburg. Dan Bank with Fox News Channel with the O'Reilly Factor. I have some questions about the John Adams Project. You know, you're putting CIA agents' lives in danger.
You need to talk to the people at the John Adams Project. That's not at all true. CIA agents put a lot of people in danger. They put this country in danger. They put American soldiers overseas in danger.
You're showing pictures of CIA agents to terrorists, Al-Qaeda terrorists. That's just despicable.
That's
what are
true.
you doing then? What is the John Adams Project?
And why are you following me around into a drugstore?
Now, that's actually a good question from the lawyer Nina Ginsburg, unlike the questions from the Fox News producer, which seemed more about harassing this woman than eliciting any information from her, eventually getting to the point of physical harassment, as you can see in this clip.
There are federal laws prohibiting sharing classified information
It's not
like
classified.
that.
If there's a person walking in the street who has a picture taken of himself, that is not classified information.
So if Valerie Plame
and there are laws against public people putting their microphones in people's faces. Valerie Plame's identity was disclosed by the vice president of this country. The people who took pictures found the information in public source information and tried to find out who the torturers were in this country.
Torturers are the people trying to keep us safe. Some people
You are making me feel threatened. Get out of my face.
Some people may wonder whose side you're on.
Get out of my face.
Despicable.
Despicable is right, but as despicable as that story was back when it aired a couple years ago and then re-aired on the 8th anniversary of September 11th, mixed in with images of the destruction of the World Trade Center, as bad as all that was, it all became even worse this month when the Justice Department finally announced the results of the investigation of those lawyers for the Guantanamo prisoners, clearing them of all wrongdoing and actually charging a CIA agent with disclosing classified information. And if you read the complaint charging that CIA agent, you'll see that the only photos of agents the lawyer showed to the prisoners were mixed in with a bunch of other photos in double-blind photo lineups, meaning the photos were not accompanied by any identifying information and that neither the lawyers showing the photos or the prisoners seeing them were aware of the identities of the persons depicted. So Bill O'Reilly's claim that CIA agents were put directly in danger and Michelle Malkin's claim that lawyers were caught red-handed blowing the cover of CIA operatives both turned out to be lies, which is why I'm asking my viewers not only to give this video a thumbs up and add it to your favorites like I always appreciate, but also use that email button to send this video to O'Reilly@foxnews.com and writemalkin@gmail.com and ask them to correct their smear against the lawyers at the John Adams Project. Of course, I don't think either of these members of the right-wing smear machine will actually correct the smear, but I want to know what you think. Will Bill O'Reilly and or Michelle Malkin correct the dishonest smear they made against the lawyers for the John Adams Project? And if they don't, Why would anyone believe anything Bill O'Reilly or Michelle Malkin says in the future?
I YouTube, you decide.